I think another week or so, inshallah, I'll be back online.
Get well soon, sir. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Dr. Sana from NAST.
Yeah, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, Dr. Belgian. How are you doing?
Thanks a lot. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Roger, can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So we'll be, having physical gathering over here, and Dr. Akbar will join from here later on in this time. Is that be fine?
Wonderful.
Okay. So right now we're just going to. Do you want our video to run?
No, that's not necessary. So that shouldn't be necessary. Yes.
Okay. So tell Dr. Akbar that he has this, talk. We'll have our video start.
Okay.
It's 3 o'clock. Shall we start?
Sure, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good morning and good afternoon. I'm Adil Sultan from Air University, Islamabad, and it is indeed my pleasure to host today's opening session. On behalf of the Air University and the host, I would like to welcome you all at the kickoff meeting of our joint project, which is titled as Rethinking Cybersecurity in Pakistan, Human Factors, Essential Role, with an interesting acronym of ReCyP. The ReCyP project, as its title suggests, is focused on the capacity building of cybersecurity education in Pakistan. The project is funded by European Union under its Erasmus Plus program for capacity building in higher education, and is based upon a consortium model comprising of 4 partner universities from Pakistan and 1 each from Turkey and Germany, which include Air University Islamabad, National University of Science and Technology, NUST, Islamabad, Lahore University of Management Sciences, Institute of Business Administration, Karachi, and Bogazici University from Turkey. Pardon me if I'm not pronouncing the correct how it is pronounced. From Turkey, and University of Saarland from Germany, which is also the lead coordinator for this project. Before we formally start the proceedings, I would like to thank all the honorable guests and distinguished participants who have joined us in this session through Zoom or YouTube, where it is being live streamed. We warmly welcome the representatives from the relevant authorities from all partner countries. We also appreciate the participation from the cybersecurity companies, as well as faculty members, researchers, and students from different universities across Pakistan. We now formally start the proceedings with the recitation of the Holy Quran. Are we going to run it again? Because we didn't hear this audio.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
قل هو الله أحد.
Say, He is Allah, who is one.
الله الصمد.
Allah, the eternal refuge.
لم يلد ولم يولد.
He neither begets nor is born.
ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Nor is there to him any equivalent.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests and participants, the ReCyP project aims at strengthening links with the industry and understanding their needs, so as to develop cybersecurity courses that are more relevant to meet the contemporary challenges. It also aims at encouraging critical thinkers, promote interdisciplinary research, and establish cybersecurity experience centers for the awareness of general masses. The agenda of today's meeting is displayed on the screen. We will have introductory presentations by project partners covering aims and goals of the project, remarks by our distinguished guests and heads of partnering institutions, followed by 2 consecutive sessions from European partners, which will be interactive and provide opportunity for the participants to engage in the discussions. It may be noted that in the first session, our speakers have joined us here at Zoom meeting, but for the wider audience, the session is also being live streamed through YouTube, and the YouTube link is also displayed in the agenda. Now we move to the speakers. Our first speaker is from the Air University, which is one of the partner university of ReCyP project in Pakistan. We are honored to have the Vice Chancellor of Air University, Air Marshal Javed Ahmed, with us. Mr. Javed Ahmed took over as Vice Chancellor of Air University Islamabad in February 2020. Before joining Air University, he had served in the Pakistan Air Force for over 40 years on different operational and staff appointments. Sir, floor is yours.
Adil, thank you very much. Distinguished guests, Honorable German Ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Bernard Schegelheck, respected Chairman, Higher Education Commission, my dear colleagues, Vice Chancellors, Presidents, Heads of Project Partner Universities, University of Saarland from Germany, Bogazi from Turkey, NAS, LUMS, and IBA, dignitaries and distinguished participants, faculty members, and students from universities across Pakistan. On behalf of Air University, Islamabad, the National Center for Cybersecurity, I would like to thank you for joining us at the opening ceremony of the ReCyP, a very interesting project. I congratulate all the partner universities of the project for becoming part of this vital initiative of promoting cybersecurity education in Pakistan. Now, it is encouraging to know that this project is a joint collaboration among 3 countries, Germany, Turkey, and Pakistan. I'm particularly thankful to our chief guest, Honorable Ambassador of Germany to Pakistan, for gracing us with his presence. It is heartening to see that the level of participation in this event, including the heads of consortium partner universities and a diverse range of relevant stakeholders, including National Steering Committee, members of the National Center for Cybersecurity, CEOs and representatives from the cybersecurity companies, the banking sector, and telcos and other relevant government officials. Ladies and gentlemen, Air University is one of the pioneer institutions in Pakistan to establish a dedicated academic department in cybersecurity and initiating a BS, MS, and a PhD in cybersecurity programs approved by the Higher Education Commission, which has fully supported us in these endeavors. In addition, the Secretariat of the National Center for Cybersecurity is also housed at Air University, that comprises 11 partner universities across Pakistan, which are conducting research and development activities in cybersecurity to collectively resolve cybersecurity challenges. Now, let me tell you, in the last 3 years, Air University management has extended full support to all the key initiatives relevant to cybersecurity. We realize that cybersecurity is a global challenge and is a shared responsibility, and each one of us has a role to play in it. The ReCyP project, as one of the most pressing challenges will address one of the most pressing challenges of the digitized world, that is securing the cyberspace. It is satisfying to know that the fundamental aim of the project, ReCyP, is capacity building in cybersecurity education while exploring the fundamental role of human psychology and behaviors. There is no doubt that humans are the weakest link in the cybersecurity chain. In the people, process, technology triad, the weakest link is the people. The security of any department, organization, and even the cyber defense of nation states is dependent on the weakest link. It is therefore inevitable to create this awareness, educate people, and train the masses for capacity building in the domain of human factor in cybersecurity. Let me assure you that Air University would extend full support for the successful implementation of the ReCyP project through courses and curriculum development and updates to meet industry demands. We are fully committed towards establishment of cybersecurity ecosystem in Pakistan and to play our role in making Pakistan a safe place to live and work online. Thank you very much for joining us. I look forward to very absorbing sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next two speakers are Mr. Cornelius Koenig and Dr. Nida Bajwa from the University of Saarland. Mr. Cornelius is Vice President for Internationalization and European Relations at the University of Saarland, and Dr. Bajwa is Professor and Researcher of Organizational and Industrial Psychology at University of Saarland. It is pertinent to mention that ReCyP project is the brainchild of Dr. Nida Bajwa himself. Sirs, floor is yours. Mr. Cornelius Forsey.
Thank you, distinguished guests, esteemed partners and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for coming to this kick-off meeting. Unfortunately, it's only online, but at least it's online, and it's great that we can at least meet virtually. My name is Cornelius Koenig, and as it was just said, I'm the Vice President of Saarland University. So one role I have here today is introducing you to Saarland University. But I'm also, and that's my second role, partner and colleague of Dr. Nida Bajwa, who, as you just heard, is the whose brainchild is this project, and we both initiated this. So I actually have two roles. So let me first start with introducing you to our university. Saarland University, here you can see a picture, is situated in the southwest part of Germany, pretty close to the French and Luxembourg border. As you can see, it's a campus university, and we think because of its geographical location, it's really in the heart of Europe. We have 6 faculties covering all major areas. So we have one big campus here in Saarbrücken, where I'm situated. We have the Human and Business Sciences Department, Mathematics and Computer Science, Natural Science and Technology, Humanities and Law. And then we have a second campus in another place called Hamburg, where the medical faculty is situated, and Saarland University Medical Center. Saarland University is convinced that the greatest asset we have is the people working here and the students we have. We actually have around 16,800 students, and we are particularly proud of the large number of international students. And of course, international students also means students from Pakistan. We have 282 professors, of whom are 17 junior professors, and a lot of people working in this academic unit, so around 1,600 academic research associates. We also have a lot of students involved in our research projects as student assistants, also as student teaching assistants. And we also have some trainees. And that makes us one of the major employers in the state of Saarland, with around 4,500 people. Saarland University is particularly proud about its cutting-edge research that is often done in so-called collaborative research centers, and that's important because we need external funds for that, so we need federal funding for that, and we were proud of having quite a lot of them. We also have so-called research training groups that are also federally funded and not by the state. resulting in numerous research projects and international collaborative projects, and a lot of them are externally funded, also via the European Union Research and Innovation Program Horizon 2020, or by the German Research Foundation or the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. And that has resulted in numerous international prizes and awards. The area we are particularly proud of is the area of computer science or informatics. Saarland University has invested quite a lot of resources into making it a global player. So we are proud of saying that we are world's leading center for computer science and informatics, at least one of the world's leading centers. And that this is, there's evidence for that by the large number of European Research Council grants and also Leibniz prizes. Leibniz prize, that's the highest prize you can get as a researcher in Germany. We have 800 IT research scientists within our university, research institutes, research groups, and again, a lot of international students, attracting people from 80 countries at least, and of course also including Pakistan, who either study there or do their PhD here with us. What is also important to know that the university, as you might remember from the picture, is kind of situated in the wood, but there are quite a lot of buildings around that are not officially part of the university, but belong to this campus. So we have a lot of organizations that are part of the university feeling, I'd say, and that work strongly together with the Saarland University. And in the first row, you can see a lot of institutions around computer science. For example, we have 2 Max Planck Institutes for Computer Science and 1 for software systems. We also have the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence being based at this campus here in Saarbrücken. But most importantly for today's occasion is the CISPA. The CISPA is the Helmholtz Center for Information Security. It is the leading cybersecurity institution in Germany. I think at the moment we are around 400 to 500 people there, but the plan is to enlarge that number in the next years to at least 1,000. So the German government has decided cybersecurity is a global challenge, and we need to tackle that with good research. And the place to do this research really is the CISPA Helmholtz Center for Information Security. And that gives me a chance to come to today's ReCyP project, because as I said, I have a second role as leading this project together with Dr. Nida Badra. The project is called Rethinking Cybersecurity in Pakistan, Human Factors, Essential Roles. And the words I like to stress, because my background is psychology, is human factors. Because as we just heard from our colleague from the vice president of Air University, the human is often the weakest link in cybersecurity. So I should probably start with my background, because that's psychology applied to work. So my chair is called Work and Organizational Psychology. This is the area of psychology where we don't care about psychotherapy, but we care about employees like you and me. And we're interested to find out, who are the best employees and what are the conditions to see best performance. So we would like to understand and to better the situation for employees at work. And if you look at today's workplace, you will see technology is just one of the major ingredients, you could say. So if you want to do cutting edge research, and that's certainly something we want to do, then you basically automatically have to work with colleagues from other disciplines that bring in the technological parts. So we are responsible for the human side, and colleagues are responsible for the technology side. And that means we also talk to colleagues at the CISPA that I just mentioned, the Cybersecurity Institute that is also situated on campus. And they explained to us cybersecurity, that is really one of the major challenges globally at the moment. We have so many stories in the newspapers where there were security breaches or data leaks. People thought their, for example, health data was private, but it was actually accessible through the internet. We also have a lot of cyber criminals that, as you probably have experienced as well, send fake emails. And if you press on them, you get to a fake page that looks maybe like the web page of your bank account, but actually it's not. And you enter your bank details, you enter your password, and the cyber criminals can then steal money from your bank account. Often it's actually not that necessary to have such a complicated system, because cyber criminals can often guess passwords. I'm not sure which password you use, but if you use easy passwords like password 1 or password 1234, then it's easy to guess such user-generated password, and they certainly don't make your visit to the World Wide Web a safe visit. We have also been told by our colleagues from CISPA that there's a huge increase in cybersecurity challenges, probably 160%, but that's just a rough figure. Also, the cost that you see on this side was $6 trillion US per year. It's just a rough figure, but it gives you an idea. Cybersecurity is really in the whole world a global and current challenge. And that also needs input from other researchers, interdisciplinary researchers. That was the idea that I brought to my team, and my team turns out to be pretty diverse from its cultural background. So we have people working for us with a Turkish background, with Polish background, but also with a Pakistani background. And that means, in this case, Dr. Nida Bajwa, who has this Pakistani background and who just realized this is also a topic that could be highly relevant for a project idea in Pakistan. So I'd like to hand over to my esteemed colleague right now.
Yes, thank you very much, Cornelius, dear Vice President, as I have to say lately, for giving me the chance to present a little bit the idea behind the project itself. It's nice to hear that it's been recognized that this project is a brainchild of mine. But actually, for a child to deliver, you need more than one person. So at least it's two or even more in that case. And it was a quite interesting journey that we had to take in order to come to the point that we are now able to kick off the project itself and start working on it for the next 3 years. And as you already said, Cornelius, it is indeed something that you notice when you talk about cyber challenges, that there are no physical boundaries anymore in which you can think about these challenges. But there are a lot of challenges there that are going on a global scale. But then if you take a look at specific local contexts, there is certainly a special nuance to it that is interesting to tackle, because we often have this focus here in Europe on a rather Western-oriented understanding on what research on cybersecurity is all about, what we do know or we don't know. And then it's just interesting to see developing countries such as Pakistan with its challenges and how to tackle them. And while we were writing the proposal or thinking about writing the proposal, it was clear that the challenges that were just mentioned by Cornelius are also challenges that are going on in Pakistan. So indeed, there is an increased digitalization all across the world that you can see, so that people are frequently using phones and computers in order to connect to the web. But also in Pakistan, with a high illiteracy rate, there are certainly a lot of people who are using these tools with not knowing a lot about the challenges, difficulties, and dangers that are associated with it. But at the same time, obviously, if you take a look at Pakistan, there are also geopolitical challenges when you go beyond the typical group of people who are end users of these things. There's certainly also political challenges involved in which you have to especially take care of the aspect of cybersecurity. But nonetheless, there's also a huge young population, which is odd for us here in Germany, at least, where we have an aging workforce, we have an aging group of people. But whenever you go to Pakistan, and Cornelius and I have been there a couple of times now, and you see people walking around the streets, it's just so evident that there's so much young potential that is out there that you could just tap to and develop their potential with. But at the same time, if you take a look at the developments in terms of cybersecurity in Pakistan, it's very interesting to see that academia, industry, and government are, on the one hand, working closely together. But at the same time, you find a lot of institutions all across Pakistan that are more or less doing isolated work on cybersecurity. So increasing the links for those who already have them or those who have not yet created them is certainly something where we felt, hey, this would be a good approach. Obviously, when you're doing such kind of a project, you cannot really go out there and achieve the result that you will tackle every university's challenge across Pakistan, but you have to start off with some strong players where you hope that you can also do a transfer of knowledge within the country from those institutions that we are now working with together. But it was also quite interesting for us, especially as psychologists, to see that there was a strong focus on the technological perspective of computer science. So whenever we were talking about the project itself, it was quite clear that there's a lot of academic potential in terms of technological advancements in cybersecurity, whether it be computer cryptography or other network security aspects. So whenever you talk to people, you already saw that there's a lot of expertise out there, but that is focused a lot on this technological perspective. As Cornelius already mentioned, when we were starting to look for people that are working in the domain of psychology, in the domain that we are working in, and not rather this clinical aspect of it, we realized that social sciences were not as much linked to computer science as they are here in Germany or in Europe in general. And we thought, hey, that's something where we feel that the Pakistani context is missing out on such an interesting perspective with challenges that not only are relevant to Pakistan, but to a lot of major countries in Asia. So why not add that perspective to the training of computer science? And obviously, if you're talking about computer science, there's always this challenge of how much of it is theory-based and how much is applied. And certainly due to certain traditions, there is a strong focus on theory. And we thought it might be good to expand on those ideas that are more applied in nature and where you involve those who are actually using the systems, where then again, there is a strong need for upbuilding the capacity in terms of social sciences and its linkage to computer science. To just give you a brief overview how we came to the point of doing this project back in 2019, so it's been a while, we started thinking about running a project here in Germany, in Pakistan, where we felt it would be a really interesting idea to tackle this aspect of computer science, especially IT security in Pakistan. And while we were doing our research, some of it we already presented, we realized that there are some players in Pakistan that we would love to talk to, especially because they've come together under the umbrella of the National Center for Cybersecurity that is going to present itself in a short while, but also with players who have not been at the forefront of IT security just yet, but are doing a lot of investments in order to achieve that. At the same time, sometimes luck plays in our hands. We had colleagues who have strong roots in Turkey, and we just realized when we were running a European project, which this one is, then you need more than one European partner to do that. And ideally, it's some country that can create a bridge over to Pakistan, where we feel that it would be a closer link to the country itself, to the institutions itself, and hopefully add to the perspective that we are bringing in. So we are very thankful to Dr. Bilgin Metin and his colleagues from Boğaziçi University who joined into the project after only having met a couple of times and having talked through some of the ideas, but they were immediately on board and said they love the idea. They're already doing a lot of work there, and they would love to do a project with Pakistan because Pakistan itself is of strategic interest to Turkey as a nation. And we thought, hey, that's the perfect bridge that we can build, and let's try to see whether we can create that road towards a proposal together. So starting off in 2019, at the end of it, having had a lot of talks in Turkey, in Pakistan with potential partners, we selected as a consortium these partners to work together in order to create a proposal that would win the hearts of the reviewers at the European side. I think to mention what we are trying to achieve here would take a long time, but to make it very concise and precise, I think the priority from the European Union was in general that we should try to develop the higher education sector within the society in large. So that was basically the aim that the European Union gave us in their call for proposals. And they were looking for ideas on how to increase the employability of students in general. And what we came up with was an idea on tackling cybersecurity in Pakistan from this more holistic approach, an interdisciplinary approach that would ideally not only help the research within the universities, but also the Pakistan's economy and government as such, because raising the awareness in terms of cybersecurity and within the society in large, and creating this link to the role that the higher education sector plays would be best met by this idea of working on the domain of cybersecurity. The main aims and goals would take a long time to go through, but I think it is indeed worth mentioning some of the key elements that we are trying to tackle here. Obviously, when you're working on such kind of a project, we are looking for a development of updating applied courses on cybersecurity. So there are already a lot of good practices out there in Pakistan, but there are also good practices available in Turkey and Germany. And we just like to create a forum in which we openly discuss these different course formats so that students can ideally benefit from the developments that we then can have from a German, Turkish, Pakistani perspective. But what is very dear to our heart is also the development of the human factors and cybersecurity element in Pakistan, because this is something where we will not only need to focus on those experts in computer security that are already out there, but we will also need to factor in and focus on people who are working on the domain of social sciences, psychology, and at this edge of technology in relationship to the workplace or their own lives. I think it's also relevant to strengthen the interdisciplinary ties within the universities because we have realized while writing the proposal as a joint consortium that sometimes there are people out there, there are people who are working on usable security and usable privacy aspects. And it would be good if we can heighten and strengthen the links here in order to create that. And ideally, once we have achieved that, we can also establish platforms in which not only distinguished experts from research and students are involved, but also key players from academia, government, and the industry, so that the knowledge that is being generated within the universities can be created there. Obviously, we are researchers, and as researchers, we like to take the opportunity for these kinds of projects in order to actually do research. We would love this project to be only the starting point for a long-term collaboration in which we can hopefully achieve a point where we have a long-term connection to the Pakistani universities we're working with and even go beyond. And the establishment of cybersecurity awareness centers will go a long way in order to achieve that. The idea of cybersecurity awareness centers in the context of this project itself is that we will create a platform, open space in which not only will researchers be able to do research as such, but we also create a training facility to raise the awareness for cybersecurity issues for the society in large. This cybersecurity awareness center or centers that will be spread across Pakistan will be established using a substantial investment of about 200,000 to 300,000 euros. And we will hope to implement a lot of the ideas that are related to human factors, as well as cybersecurity training within these awareness centers. So it will be a space that can work as a training center, as an experience platform, but also as a showcase for applied students' projects to the industry. This Cybersecurity Awareness Center also creates a big novelty, as this concept is something totally new all across the world. So it's not as if we have a blueprint lying around and know what we are going to achieve here, but this is actually something where we have a novelty within the project itself. And we are very much looking forward to using the Pakistani context to have this internationally unique concept of a Cybersecurity Awareness Center developed from a technological perspective, but also from a social science perspective. Now, I think this brings me to the end of our presentation. For all those who are joining us via the YouTube live stream link, I certainly believe that you will be interested in keeping up to date and staying up to date with the developments within the project. And that's why we have created a website of the project itself, where we will be sharing all the latest news on the project and inviting over stakeholders from all different groups to participate within the project scope and even beyond that. And finally, I think I'm very thankful to my cultural roots. As Cornelius already said, even though being born here in Germany, I still have a close relationship to the country, as well as my Turkish colleagues here. And we are very much looking forward to working with all of you together over the course of the next 3 years. With that, I hand it over back to Dr. Adil.
Thank you, Dr. Bajwa. Interesting thoughts. I think myself and my colleagues at the Air University would benefit a lot from the joint projects, because Air University is one where we have a strong medical school and a computer department, computer sciences, and also social sciences department, and also the security studies. So we have this kind of thinking at the Air University to encourage interdisciplinary research. So I'm sure that we will benefit from your project. Now I will request my colleague, Dr. Kashif Kifayat, who is Director of National Center for Cybersecurity and Dean Faculty of Computing and Artificial Intelligence at Air University Islamabad. He will be providing brief introduction of the role of the National Center for Cybersecurity and Pakistani universities in the project. Dr. Kashif.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adil Sultan. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and afternoon. Can you see my slides? Okay, this is Dr. Kashif Kifayat. I'm representing here today the National Center of Cybersecurity. So I will give a quick introduction about the National Center of Cybersecurity's its vision and mission, and then it will explain that what we have done so far. And then after that, I will talk about little that how we will engage in the project, which already been mentioned. So this is the flow of my presentation. After introductions, I will quickly give a few slides on the role of National Center of Cybersecurity and Pakistani universities in the ReCyP project. So the vision of the National Center of Cybersecurity is to play a leading role in securing Pakistan's cyberspace and making Pakistan world premium nation in cybersecurity. Obviously, the vision, you could see that is not limited to Pakistan. Obviously, we will love to actually contribute in protecting the global cyberspace, and whatever the common issues that we face as a global citizen, we will be happy to contribute in that as well. In order to achieve our vision, the mission is to build national capabilities and capacity in cybersecurity to produce indigenous professionals and solutions in the field of cybersecurity. Now, the National Center of Cybersecurity is composed of 11 research labs, and the headquarters is at the Air University in Pakistan, in Islamabad. So all these labs are geographically spread out throughout Pakistan. So the research labs you can see on the screen, the first lab we have is called Cyber Reconnaissance and Combat Lab, that is at Bahri University. We have Internet Security and Quantum Technology Lab at NAD Karachi. We have Innovative Secure System Lab, that is at UT Peshawar. We have a Blockchain Security Lab, this is at IIT Lahore. We have a Deep Packet Inspection Lab at UT Texla. We have Internet Security and Privacy Lab at LUMS. We have a critical infrastructure protection and malware analysis lab at PIAS. We have security auditing and evaluation lab at NUST, which is MCS. We have Internet of Things security lab at UT Lahore. We have a devices and network security lab at Air University. And we have a national cybercrime forensics lab is at Air University. So these are 11 research labs been working for the past 2 years in the different domain of the cybersecurity to do the R&D. Other than that, we have recently funded 9 and more projects to actually perform R&D in the domain which are not covered by these research labs. Now, the human resource that we have at National Center of Cybersecurity, collectively, we have 44 PhD scientists. We have 68 research associates. We have 30 research assistants. We have team lead developers. We have 40 medium and junior developers. We have 60 master's students. So these 60 masters are funded as a scholarship. And we have 64 PhD students will be funding through this project. We have 2 postdoc and we have 12 posts for business development manager actually to work toward and engage with the industry to commercialize this solution. Now, this is a quick progress that what we have actually, as per the project, this was a 3-year project. So the third column, you could see that these are the targets that we're supposed to achieve. And the very last column on the right, that is what we have done so far. So you could see that we're supposed to be doing R&D, and this R&D is supposed to be in a commercial nature, that they should produce something to the market which help the stakeholders. So out of these, we are working on 51 different products and tools. Obviously, we are doing R&D, so we regularly publish in good quality journal and conferences. Other than that, we have to write research grants and actually produce more research funds. So we regularly submit research proposals. One of them, obviously, the Erasmus Plus, which we are discussing today. We also, part of our KPI is that we have to engage with industry and generate some fund from them as well. Other than that, it is a part of our KPI that we have to establish national and international collaborations. And today's meeting and the event is witness of that we're happy to engage with international partners to work on the common goals that we face together. The point 7 is directly linked, obviously, to the project we are attending. The event is about the training and awareness of, different, the users, you could say the students and the different organizations to help them to actually make sure that they actually are safe in the cyberspace when they are using them. And the last is that we have a target that we have to actually come up with some startups that these should transform in some sort of a economic benefit. And that is a pretty hard challenge for us because there is no, there is a start in this culture to actually to directly input to the economy of Pakistan. But this is the part of our KPI that we have to actually come up with some startups through our R&D. So these are some quick tools that I will not mention the technical detail, but you could see that from the name, you will get pretty good idea that, as mentioned by Dr. Nida Bajwa, that cybercrime and obviously the colleague, respected Vice President has already mentioned that the cybercrime is on rise. So we, the challenge always reshape itself in the arena of cyber crimes. So we working on a different R&D in development in mobile forensics, computer forensics, and social media forensics to actually combat and help the law enforcement agencies to catch these criminals. Other than that, in order to defend the attacks, cyber attacks, we are working on the tools and technology like firewall, intrusion detection system, and also the tool like vulnerability analysis, blockchain, and operating system compliance tools. So these tools you can see on the screen, they are in pretty much in a alpha or beta version shape, and we will be rolling them and sharing them with the stakeholder for testing purpose. A part of our activity that we've been doing is that the second part, which I will mention later on, is that we have to encourage industrial activities in Pakistan. So globally, there's a practice that's been followed that normally to establish an industry in any area, not cybersecurity, they normally establish clusters. So obviously, you could see the example of Turkish cybersecurity cluster. Similarly, in Germany, the same concept has been followed. In UK, in Europe, in US, that they establish cybersecurity clusters to promote the industry in that country. So similar initiative been taken by the National Center of Cybersecurity, and in 20 September, we have established Pakistan Cybersecurity Cluster, which obviously have a member companies, and there are professionals are the member of this cluster. So these are the companies you could see that in Pakistan currently. Most of them are actually, they are engaged with international companies, and they are reselling their products. But some of them are engaged in the R&D and their indigenous development as well. So there are major companies you can see in the list. They are on board with National Center of Cybersecurity to actually help to promote the industry in Pakistan. Now, part of this, what we have done is we've been engaged with Turkish cybersecurity cluster. So there are 100+ companies in Turkey in cybersecurity. So we had an event where Pakistani companies and Turkish companies, they had a meeting together to engage with each other in a business activity and learn from each other. Part of the Pakistan cybersecurity cluster, we will be establishing cybersecurity student clubs. These clubs is actually exactly where the awareness center will help to actually make these students aware about cyber crime issues, and also train them if they are directly related to cybersecurity. So we are in this process, and we are encouraging Pakistani universities to actually to establish these clubs, especially the issues that you could see on the internet, where the women in cybersecurity, that how they actually the rising cyber crimes in Pakistan, how to combat them. So that's where the awareness center will play a very important role, which is the part of this project. So as I mentioned about the members already, there are banks which engage with us. There are telcos, and there are other stakeholders are engaged with the Pakistan Cybersecurity Cluster. Now, part of our KPIs, and we would like to actually write a document with Pakistan Cybersecurity Industry Strategy to help the government to actually how to take this and how to encourage and how to actually solve the challenges that Pakistani companies face in Pakistan to combat them as well. Similar to that, we had an event planned with the Turkish Cybersecurity Cluster in May, and we will love to actually engage with the German cluster as well, which I've been searching a little bit. There are clusters exist in Germany, and we will be happy to actually engage with them for potential joint enterprise opportunities. Other than that, what we have done so far is that the slide I'm mentioning today is this is the campaign where we have started nationally, a national cybersecurity training and awareness campaign. Again, this is not at the scale that which we are mentioning in ReCyP project. ReCyP project is exactly focusing on this aspect for next 3 years. However, we have a smaller element that we are conducting at whatever capacity we have. So obviously, this will really help this part of the activity we are conducting at National Center of Cybersecurity. So part of this, what we have done, we have conducted 65 workshops, and we have trained over 1,500 participants, which the number is very low, but obviously this is the activity, these numbers we can increase to ReCyP project as well. So these are some of the products that are in our mature shape that we've been developed so far. So this is a firewall. Normally you can use in home for like a smart homes. Like for example, the kids go online and they surf online. So there may be a lot of unsafe content available for them. So this firewall has a user interface on the mobile phone. So the parent can control things from the mobile phone and what devices and what traffic can be allowed in the home as well. Other than that, the same lab is also developing enterprise firewalls to be used by organizations. This is the, you could see the screenshot is the intrusion detection system and the CM solution we are developing. This is one of our another lab. The screen you could see on, which is available in front of you. This is the product is in under development, and obviously soon it is ready. It will be rolled out in the market. This is computer forensics tool. This forensics tool, which is again used for investigation for catching the cyber criminals. This is a firmware extraction analysis and security assessment tool. So it extracts the firmware from the hardware, and we can perform different security assessment. Okay, now I will quickly go to the strategy that we have been following at the National Center of Cybersecurity. So you could see that the strategy of National Center of Cybersecurity is the green box on the left is that where the ReCyP project will focus on. So the ReCyP project is directly aligned with the National Center of Cybersecurity activities to actually focus on the skill set development and engage them with the multidisciplinary research and development and industry to promote the job opportunities here in Pakistan and globally as well. So ultimately goal is that all activity we do this through this project should actually be measured in some sort of the economic activities. Now, these things has already been mentioned by Dr. Nida, so I won't take much time on these. These are the roles of the Pakistani universities in the project. Obviously, what has been mentioned by Dr. Nida is that we will engage in the different activities to do R&D to develop new courses and curriculum and improve the existing curriculum we are currently running in Pakistan. Again, part of what Dr. Nida has already mentioned, that we will retrain the trainers. It means the faculty member who is teaching these cybersecurity courses will be trained as well as a part of this project as well. Now, finally, with this slide, which I will conclude that what Dr. Nida has mentioned, this is just the beginning of this collaboration. What I could see is vision by looking to these two research center, CISPA and Buzibur. These are the two research centers in Turkey and Germany. National Center of Cybersecurity and its labs will be happy to engage in a technical joint research project as well. If there is any opportunity, we would love to actually share our experiences and learn from our colleagues in Germany and Turkey as well. Obviously, again, the world is now transforming in a global village. There are always that, as mentioned by the Vice President, there are a lot of students, Pakistani students in Germany, and there are a lot of students in Turkey as well. And we would love to actually establish some sort of exchange program between student and faculty member during summer. Students from Germany and Turkey can visit Pakistan, and we can vice versa, and we can do this activity. We can also start joint degree programs among these universities with University of Saarland and Bogazi University in Turkey. That is again an idea where the student can actually complete part of the course in Pakistan and part of the course in Germany as well. And we would love to actually organize joint dissemination events like conferences and workshops. And by the way, we are having an international conference toward the end of this year, and we will formally welcome both our partners from Saarland and Bogazi University and all the partners in Pakistan as well to engage in this. So with this, I finish my presentation, and thank you very much for the time. I hope I have not taken too much time. Dr. Adil, hand over back to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Kashif, for sharing your thoughts. Our next speaker is Dr. Bilgin Metin from Bogazi University, Istanbul, Turkey, which is one of the partner university of ReCyP project. Dr. Bilgin is Vice Director at School of Applied Sciences and also managing university's Management Information System Cybersecurity Center. Dr. Bilgin, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I am very happy for these organizations, because Pakistan and Turkey is the brother countries. Also, Turkey has always good relations with Germany. Our cybersecurity center founded in 2017, and we made several organizations. We made several free cybersecurity camps for the students, and we make organizations to increase cybersecurity awareness for the public. We gave trainings. Also, we try to provide a management information point of view for the cybersecurity. This is a point of view, multidisciplinary point of view, and we made some publications also. Personally, I made publications, especially on cybersecurity awareness and cybersecurity culture for the companies. Therefore, at the first moment, the project, I interested in the project. And also in recent 4 years, we developed an also practical knowledge. We are giving cybersecurity trainings and services for the companies also. And we found an opportunity to examine the private sector and cyber attacks closely. And we try to combine our academic knowledge also to help the private sector. And we are combining academic research with the private sector experience. Thank you very much for this wonderful projects. Thanks for everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Biljin. Now I'll introduce the chief guest of today's event. It is indeed an honor that today we have amongst us the German ambassador to Pakistan, His Excellency Mr. Bernard Schlagheck. We are grateful to the support extended by the Honorable Ambassador and his country, which shows great affection and commitment of the German Embassy towards our country's development and education needs. I request the Honorable Ambassador to give his welcome address. Excellency, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Well, I think now there's a lady among you, so I have to say, gentle lady and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to talk to you via Zoom. I shall be brief. Just to say that we are here at the German Embassy in Islamabad are very pleased with the unfolding cooperation on such a forward-looking topic as cybersecurity in Pakistan and the role of the human factor is. That is not only because the topic is indeed pressing, as we know. I mean, the pandemic has shown clearly which important, almost indispensable role digitalization and, in perspective, AI will play in contemporary societies. I also very much appreciate the multi-stakeholder approach which is being adopted here. Involving not only the University of Saarland from the German side, plus 4 Pakistan universities, which count among the best of the country, and 3 out of 4 I had already the pleasure to visit, but also the very prestigious Boğaziçi University from Turkey. And that underlines the collaborative character of the research project, which is, in my view, the right and appropriate way to go, all the more so at this critical juncture. Germany, in any event, supports international university research partnerships around the globe. In Pakistan, we currently have more than 50 of such partnership between universities and research institutions, of course, with a varying degree and level of activities. Some of them, I would say roughly 25, half of them are being funded by partly, of course, by the German Academic Exchange Service. Also, the EU, as this Erasmus project shows, and with significant German backing, of course, is funding partnership efforts too, and as we see, quite generously. A last remark, if I may, a project like this one fit well into the framework of 70 years of diplomatic relations between Pakistan and Germany, which we are celebrating in the course of this year of 2021. So for the next 3 years, I wish all participants and all participating researchers, faculty members, academics, students, lot of insights and success while running this interesting project. And above all, and I think most importantly, I hope that the project will only be the starting point for a long and trustful cooperation between this illustrious group of universities. With that, I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. One of the objectives of today's meeting is to take all relevant stakeholders on board from the very beginning so as to secure a sustainable effect of the project. We are grateful to Pakistan's Federal Minister for Science and Technology, Mr. Fawad Hussain Chaudhry, for extending his support for this project as he is playing active role in policy formulation and legislature at the government level. Unfortunately, the Federal Minister could not join us due to his pressing commitment, but he has sent his warm regards and best wishes for this project. So I'll move on to the next speaker, who is from the Higher Education Commission. Higher Education Commission's mandate includes overseeing, regulating, and accrediting the higher education institutions in Pakistan, besides providing funding, which is the most important factor. HEC will be one of the key stakeholders for the ReCyP project to help improve cybersecurity education spectrum in the country. We are honored to have Chairman of the HEC, Dr. Tariq Banoori, with us. I now request Dr. Tariq Banoori to share his thoughts on the project. Sir, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sultan, and thank you to the organizers for inviting me. HEC has been very committed to the initiative that led to the establishment of this center as part of a chain of centers around the country. We've set up centers not only in cybersecurity, but also in artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and a number of disruptive technology areas. We also wanted to make sure that these centers would not simply become ivory towers, which do not produce any results and which basically just are content simply to exist and to reflect on the world as it goes by. So one of the things that we built into the structure of these centers was to focus it much more towards practical outcomes and towards collaborative outcomes. This is why the centers are constructed in the form of multiple labs, which are expected to collaborate, interact with each other. It is also why the expected outcomes of the centers are defined in considerable detail, so that there is constantly a target, a goal of producing meaningful and effective results, developing meaningful partnerships, both with industry and domestic institutions, and also with international institutions. So we see this project as an evidence of one of the earliest evidences of success of this strategy. We are very happy that this center was able to win an Erasmus grant, and that this happened in collaboration with universities from two of our partner countries, namely Germany and Turkey. So this is a very, very important feather in its cap. We are also very happy to see the very practical direction in which the center is oriented, particularly towards producing products, testing them in the market, and making sure that they become available on a larger scale. We do want to encourage these centers to produce results which are visible to everybody and not simply results which are published in some obscure journal somewhere. So the approach that has been taken in terms of this project is very much in line with the thinking under which the center was established. We also feel that one of the things that these centers can do is to focus on higher education itself, because the need for solutions is across the board. There is a kind of a low-level equilibrium trap in which people are stuck in low levels of efficiency, low levels of transparency, and low level of participation and equity. And the transformation from that into a more efficient, more participatory, more egalitarian system is a difficult and frictional process. We do see technology as a way of finding some of those solutions. We also see that this is a frictional process, that there's a lot of opposition to the use of greater technology. And so it's very important to be able to find solutions which are of a win-win type. In other words, which enable people to enhance their efficiency at low cost. And I think this is why we have placed a great emphasis on producing products, putting products out in the market. Now, when you put products in the market, creating products for higher education itself, I think, should be one of the first steps. And we do look forward to some of the products that you produce. I don't only mean training and education, by the way, because training and education also needs additional forms of monitoring to make sure that the quality is sufficiently high and sufficiently productive. What I mean is other products which can bring about a transformation in the way that we work and we engage with each other. Cybersecurity for us is a very, very important field because the cyberspace is the new public space. It has the potential not only to transform our economic, social, and other undertaking, a potential that was quite visible in the COVID crisis, both in education and in other sectors. But in order for this space to be used, people need to feel secure. And to create those bastions of security is an important element, important goal for many of our colleagues today. So to the extent that this center is able to create or help us create that level of security, I think we would be very, very grateful and proud of the work of this center. The reason why I want to stress focusing on higher education is that this is also a test case in which the quality, the value, the cost effectiveness of any of the products can be proven. So we would like to see focusing on some of the solutions that are already being determined in the higher education sector. We've set up the higher education data repository, to solve a number of other challenges. Now we need to protect those, and this partnership can actually help us protect them. There are a number of other ways also, which I have in separate meetings with the centers emphasized, and we would like very much to see them producing the results which can help us move forward in this domain. So focus on higher education, create problems, create products and results, not only obscure results, but results that are visible. Build partnerships. We're very happy with the partnerships that you have built with Germany and Turkey, and also the partnerships that you have built within the country. Engage the private sector in this regard. Let them take up some of these ideas to scale. We also would like you to be realistic. There's a temptation to say we will be able to solve every problem under the sun, but we want you to solve one problem at a time and make sure that there is sufficient progress. We do want to see the creation of more professionals through training and education, but we would also like to see the training, the development of the professionals, not only through practical work, but through work that leads to some outcomes. So we would look very much at somebody who has worked with you as a much greater evidence of their quality than of simply a piece of paper that says that they have a certificate or a degree. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have great hopes from the network of centers that we have created. We want them to solve problems. We want them to provide a model for others, and we want them to continue to leverage their work into larger and larger undertakings. With these words, I'm very happy to say that we are proud of the work that you've done so far, and we look forward to a much more effective and continuing and sustainable set of activities in the future. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. And before we move to other Pakistani participants and hear their views, I would like to request Dr. Gurkan Kamrolu, Vice Rector of Boğaziçi University, Turkey. Sir, if you can share your views, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sultan. It's a great pleasure for me here to address the kickoff meeting in the name of Boğaziçi University. Now I would actually, Professor Metin mentioned in his speech the importance of Germany and Pakistan. I myself, I would like to note, I grew up in German schools for the first 10 years of my education, and I've been in Pakistan for a couple of times in terms of the international networking, because when I was the president of the International Association for Energy Economics, so I personally put great value on this composition of Germany, Turkey and Pakistan, and not only in terms of the project, but in terms of the long-standing collaboration it should, hopefully it will, create a long-lasting partnership, a great synergy. Now, Boğaziçi University, I'm the vice rector since February. I'm a 20-year faculty here at Boğaziçi University. It is, as an academic institution, actually, there is 160 years of experience, founded in 1863. Under the name of Robert College at that time, as the first American college outside the borders of the United States. Then it served as a leading international institution of higher learning in the region and transformed into a Turkish state university in 1971. And since then, we are actually, since the foundation, we are actually the most preferred choice. I mean, supported by this long tradition of academic excellence, today we pride ourselves on being the most preferred choice for Turkish students taking the nationwide university entrance examinations. It is a research-intensive university, Boğaziçi University. We do have currently enrolled 12,887 students in undergraduate programs and 3,031 in graduate programs, summing up 15,918 students. We do have 6 faculties, 2 schools, and 6 institutes at the university. A total of 6 campuses, so it's a large university. And as a research university, according to the Turkish system, you get selected into into a research university with the excellence you demonstrate in research. And we encourage our academic staff particularly to participate in international research programs according to our institutional policy. And actually the university has achieved considerable success in international projects, be it European Commission, be it other international project opportunities, and be it now ReCyP project here led by Professor Bilgin Metin. So with this brief introduction, brief address, I would like to sum up and wish all the participants a success in the way of undertaking this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gulkan. Now, moving to our other Pakistani partners of the ReCyP project, we are grateful to have Honorable Vice Chancellor of Lahore University of Management Sciences, Dr. Arshad Ahmed with us. Sir, can I request you for your views on the ReCyP project?
Absolutely. Bahut shukriya. Thank you very much, Mr. Sultan, Honorable Ambassador, Chairman Banouri, Dr. Gurkan, fellow VCs, colleagues and esteemed partners from Germany, Turkey, and of course our sister universities in Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum. You know, on a personal note, and Dr. Gurkan reminded me that before the pandemic, the two cities I visited before we all got sort of stuck in our little bubbles one was in Cappadocia. So I had some wonderful memories. I've visited Turkey many times, and my entire family had the pleasure of hospitality that our Turkish brothers provided us. For what it's worth, I am a frequent visitor of Leipzig in Germany. I have many friends there, have worked there in various capacities, and I'm just thrilled that we have an opportunity to further these collaborations in very meaningful ways that are being presented to all of us today. I wanted to provide, if I may, a bit of an institutional perspective on how the institution can support our colleagues who are taking on this wonderful adventure to deal with what I would call one of many wicked problems that we face in not just in Pakistan, but I would say around the world. It's not limited to developing countries, but of course, across the spectrum, we have all kinds of issues that transcend our disciplines that we as scholars work in. So the question I raised ever since I've joined LUMS is, how can we create systems and structures within the university to support endeavors exactly like these, which are not only of national concern, but also of interest to our regions, to our neighbors, and then of course to the world at large. And so just to give you a few examples of what we are doing here to support projects like this so that they can be sustained, and so that they not only get the rhetoric from leaders like us that, you know, good luck, focus on these, and we'll meet you again temporarily as you move along. But in fact, to provide some real teeth behind how serious the institution is, and in particular here I speak on behalf of my colleagues at LUMS, about how this kind of a project can be visibly supported by our institution. So I'll say just 2 or 3 points. The first thing I would say is that centers typically, rest at the margins of the heart of academic work that's done, because the heart of the academic work is, of course, within the disciplines. And while this is a wonderful thing in the sense that disciplines create deep knowledge and then provide that kind of understanding that normally you would not find in other spheres in society, they also tend to get insulated and find themselves lacking in the translation work that needs to be done from conceptualization, theoretical work, which is very important, to applied work which society can visibly benefit from. So for that, centers often take on that role to transition and translate that research in applied, data-driven, evidence-based projects. And so what we've decided at LUMS is to say, okay, first of all, the centers which live within a discipline or within a school will now live institutionally and report directly to the provost, which is the chief academic officer, or to the vice chancellor or to the vice chancellor. And this has been done for all 18 of our centers, but in particular, the ones we have prioritized, which we are going to give significant resources to, whether they be in big data. We have a center for that in water informatics, in energy, in policy, and there's a few more that are right up on our list, including the one that we are talking about today. So that's the first point: realign structures so that it becomes visible at the top level where they can receive resources and support. The second point is that the work that we do, our colleagues do, in areas where lots of different, we talked about multi-stakeholders, we talk about inter-institutional collaborations, but we also have to talk about interdisciplinary collaborations. We have to talk about cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary, and the term we use at LUMS is transdisciplinary. So transdisciplinarity really means meeting at the edges of your discipline where intersections occur, where people can inform through their considered lens about the nature of the problem that they wish to solve and how that is going to be worked out in collaboration with their colleagues. So science and engineering, this is the second thing I want to remind everybody who is not aware, is one of those experiments of what we call the no borders agenda at LUMS. So integrating just science and engineering as one school has been something going on here for 12 years, and now has come to another level where the school itself interacts with the 4 other schools that we have. The oldest school we have, of course, is the business school with its case-based method and very applied work that has had a huge impact on management practices. And our largest school, which is humanities and social sciences, where we have, of course, lots of policy work that goes and transcends beyond our own institutional borders. And then the law school, which itself is groundbreaking in introducing the first 5-year LLB BA program, which was emulated by many other universities in Pakistan. And our most recent School of Education, which is dealing with the highest sector, the biggest growth sector in Pakistan, that has to do with all levels, K to 12 and beyond. So when you have the second point being, how are these people who are working in the edges and boundaries of their disciplines going to be recognized by the institution? And that implicates career progression, it implicates their promotions, it implicates a trajectory of work which their colleagues can recognize. And so we are on the verge of implementing a rejuvenated and a wider understanding of scholarship, so that the criteria we use for success is transparent and understood by young faculty who join us. And so the last thing I would say to you about this move towards thinking of these wicked problems in a transdisciplinary manner means that real resources have to be allocated in a budgeting process that too is decentralized and transparent. So we have embarked on activity-based budgeting. We make all of our budgets known. Every dean knows everyone else's budget. So we know where the resources are heavily required, where some schools need to subsidize other schools, where we work as one unit, as one family. And I think if we can extend that through the lens of a program like this, where we have interinstitutional collaborations, then we are, of course, going to increase the two heads are better than one. So I am absolutely excited. I congratulate some of our team leads here, including Dr. Shafiq, Movin Javed, Muhammad Farid Zafar, Yasir Hashmi. There are many others, and these are folks coming from these different disciplines who are bringing in their expertise in a way in which we can have informed, considered conversations where we are going to do this translational work and find those visible products that Dr. Banuri was talking about that a society can benefit from, and in particular cybersecurity, which, needless to say, this whole conversation is going to be about today, where our experts will inform us how vital it is for us to be able to succeed in this era because it is in fact the maybe the last frontier as far as right now we are concerned, with not only threats but also the opportunities that it presents to all of us. So thank you very much for allowing me to be part of this and to give you these remarks, and I wish you all the best success, and I look forward to knowing you better, and especially my colleagues as vice chancellors would extend a warm welcome and invitation to you to please come and visit us, because the magic of LUMS is to come here on campus, meet the people, and also benefit from our hospitality, which we are very looking forward to provide to all of you. Thank you and best wishes.
Thank you very much, sir. Great. Great to know LUMS is doing wonderful work as usual. So our next speaker is Dr. Syed Akbar Zaidi, who is Executive Director at Institute of Business Administration, Karachi. IBA Karachi is also one of the partner universities for ReCyP project from Pakistan. Dr. Akbar, the floor is yours, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm, ladies and gentlemen, very happy to be part of this, and especially with what Arshad once called Tier 1 universities. His attempt and trying to convince Tariq to try and create a group of universities which work at very different levels compared to others, and where we can work together and collectively. So I think this is one of the best things that's happened in recent months. And of course, since last year, we have to meet like this. This is the only way that we can meet. So I'm delighted to be part, that the IBA and my colleagues here are part of this. Call it a consortium, call it a group, call it a center, a large center across universities. So I think for people in Karachi, in Lahore, and Pindi, Islamabad to start with, within Pakistan, this is a very productive, very useful academic move forward. I'll come to the cybersecurity side later. So I think that's the first step. Also, I think it's quite very heartening to have a relationship with Turkey through education and through linkages of this sort, and with Germany. I think many universities, the IBA in Karachi has had links individually with some universities in Turkey and some in Germany, including Leipzig. But I think this bringing so many universities together is something that we should all celebrate. Just the fact that we are here together and we're thinking about this and moving forward. Like LUMS, which was a business school, the IBA was also a business school many years ago, some decades ago now. And we have about 5,000 students at the IBA, and with growing and large computer science, mathematics department, as well as a social science department. So from the IBA, we've got on this, from our side, we've got people from psychology, the chairperson, from the social school and liberal arts. We've got people who work on computer science and mathematics. So we are bringing in many different fields, because whether we talk about while somebody crunches numbers, somebody has to make sense of those numbers in the human domain, and psychologists and other social scientists will play a very important role in this. I think one of the advantages that Karachi has is that it is the financial and business hub of Pakistan. Different estimates different calculations give it different estimates as to how much it contributes to the economy. And one of the advantages of the IBA being based in Karachi is that our business school, our mathematics and computer sciences school, and a school of economics and the social sciences allow us to interact with industry, with the financial sector in Karachi. And that's, I think, a huge advantage which the IBA has, which we would like to leverage in this consortium. Especially now when we talk about cybercrime, especially on the financial side, the financial and the business and the industrial side. I think our expertise, our work based in Karachi with banks and the financial sector broadly and the industrial sector will be a huge advantage to all of the others who bring in different skills. So I think that's something that we would like to leverage and like to bring to the table and work with LUMS and the Air University and with NUST and with Turkey and Germany. I think we have a very good group here with different aspects of sort of specialization, professionalization, and expertise, and we can use that very well. Finally, I'd like to just follow on from what Arshad also said, that in the post-vaccination world, which I hope will be in August, as soon as August, September, I mean, while guests from outside of Pakistan can come to LUMS, we would like to have a meeting in Karachi as well. Arshad is also from Karachi, and we've lent him to Lahore for a few years, but we'd like to invite him and the others back to Karachi and have a series of meetings in real time, in real person, where we can ask our friends from Turkey, our friends from Germany, and from elsewhere. By then, I hope we have a larger growing consortium where both in Turkey, perhaps you can expand, in Germany, our friends in there can expand, and we can have a larger group to have a first real in-person meeting in Lahore and Karachi, and of course also in Islamabad. So I'll stop there and say thank you very much for this invitation. I'd like to mention Dr. Irfan Nabi, Dr. Shakil Khoja, the Dean, Dr. Faisal Iradat from the Computer Science Department, and Dr. Suhair Nadeem, who is the chairperson of from a psychologist from the Social Science and Liberal Arts Department. And I look forward to many years. We have at least 3 years on this. So I look forward to interaction with all individuals, all schools, all institutions. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, after these two invitations from Lahore and Karachi, now moving back to Islamabad now. Our next speaker is Dr. Muhammad Ali, who is the Director of Research at National University of Science and Technology, Islamabad. NUST is the fourth partner university from Pakistan of ReCyP project. Dr. Akbar, may I request you to share your views, please? Sorry, Dr. Ali. Dr. Ali, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adil. First of all, it's great to be here along with the Honorable German Ambassador, Chairman HEC, Vice Chancellors, Pro-Vice Chancellors, Executive Directors, and respected colleagues from Pakistan, from Germany, from Turkey. Thank you very much for having us. Before I go on to our contribution in the project, I'd first like to give a brief introduction of the National University of Sciences and Technology. National University of Sciences and Technology is a comprehensive university, initially started up as a engineering-focused university, but then delved into natural sciences, social sciences, humanities, art, design, and architecture. It has 17,000 students, of which 5,500 are graduate students, and an alumni pool of approximately 40,000 spread across the world. So that is just giving an idea of the academics, more than 140 programs, and a QS ranking of 355, and ranking in many other international ranking agencies. NUST would like to itself as a research-intensive university, continuously focused on enhancing its research and innovation portfolio, and is very cognizant of its projects, the performance in its projects, and the outcomes from the projects, be it publications, patents, technology transfer, and postgraduate students and alike. The 6 research themes which NUST focuses on are digital futures, smart cities, green energy, Pakistani society, business and economy, health and well-being, food and agriculture, and transformative technologies, innovation, and shared value creation. All of NUST research is divided into these 6 themes and the 60 disciplines which are populated in these 6 themes. NUST is home to National Centers on Artificial Intelligence, the National Center on Robotics and Automation, and it also has partner labs in the National Center for Cybersecurity and the National Center for Big Data and Cloud Computing. Similarly, NUST also has a dedicated facility from the Planning Commission for making cardiac stents and angioplasty balloon catheters. In terms of the number of projects which we are doing, there are 340 in-progress projects worth approximately 2.8 billion rupees worth, and 771 completed projects worth 1.8 billion. So the total projects portfolio is in excess of 1,000 or in excess of 1,100 research projects worth 4.6 billion. We have approximately 1,800 publications coming out every year, total 800 IPs which are filed, 130 IPs awarded, and 50 technologies transferred to industry. So besides, as Chairman HEC mentioned and others, besides our publications portfolio, we are very much interested in the socioeconomic impact, be it via technology transfer, creation of spin-offs, or through policy interventions with the federal and various provincial governments. Before moving on, I would also like to mention that NUST is home to the National Science and Technology Park, and many other science parks are coming across Pakistan. We are really excited about this. Now, for the College of Signals is one of the oldest colleges at NUST, and it's a premier information security organization with many researchers focused on information security and related subjects. Our faculty members, Dr. Heather Abbas, Dr. Sadaf Robab, and Dr. Yusra Javed are participating in this project and are stalwarts from our side. Dr. Heather Abbas has participated in other EU-funded projects, as well as is the head of the National Center, is the head of the Cybersecurity Auditing and Evaluation Lab, which is part of the National Center for Cybersecurity. So with some of our best leads, we assure you that we are putting our best foot forward into making sure that this project gains its best outcomes. Similarly, Dr. Heather Abbas and team, they are part of many national and international bodies and are very active researchers who are participating from our side. I would like to mention that NUST has a robust research support system, be it via administrative structures, technical structures, financial structures, and pays particular emphasis to these mega international projects. In fact, as this session was happening, another EU-funded project on nanotechnology was announced, and we also have a main share in that. So this is our focus. We are going forward, not only focusing on nationally funded projects, but our international partnerships as well, increasing exchanges, focusing on internationalization, making sure we support the government in its science diplomacy initiatives, and broadening our international portfolio overall. So main office NUST support is there, and we assure our team from the College of Signals that we are with you, and we assure that our partners from Germany, Turkey, and other Pakistani universities that we will be regularly engaging with you and providing whatever support is required in order to make this project a success. We welcome you to visit NUST and the National Science and Technology Park and the various initiatives that we are doing over here. Thank you very much for having us once again. Thank you, Dr. Adil.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. I would like to thank all the worthy speakers for their participation in this opening session. I would now request Dr. Kashif Kifayat to conclude the session. Just brief announcement. After this, we have breakout sessions also that would involve interactive discussion with project partners from Europe. The details of both the sessions are displayed or shall be displayed soonly at the screen along with the joining details. Dr. Kashif, for your concluding remarks, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adil. Ladies and gentlemen, hello again. This has been a wonderful opening ceremony, and we are thankful to German Ambassador, Chairman HEC, Vice Presidents from Germany and Turkey of both universities, respected Vice Chancellor from Pakistan, Executive Director and colleagues from Germany and Turkey. We wanted this important meeting and event to be in person rather online, but we are restricted due to of the COVID restriction. Nevertheless, by virtue of online participation, we are delighted to have the wider involvement from the diverse range of stakeholders. So today even reflects that there are many common goals that we share. This is a positive indication to achieve a better results and establish long-term collaborations, both nationally and internationally. I would like to express my gratitude to all the speakers for their valuable contribution and support. We also appreciate the presence of all stakeholders from academia, industry, and government officials in the testament to our joint commitment to strengthen cybersecurity education in Pakistan and globally. We look forward to achieve the desired goals and objectives for this project. And I wish you and your family my personal best for your health and safety. With this, we thank you once again. And I wish you all the best and a good vibe from my side and from everyone from the Pakistan and the NCCS and all partner university. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kashif. And I'll be signing off now, and I'll be handing over the forum to the organizers or the technical team, and the details of the breakout sessions are there on the screen. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot personally, and I'm sure all the partner institutions, they must be thinking some new ideas for these collaborative projects. Thank you, Dr. Kashif, for providing this opportunity, and Khuda Hafiz from Islamabad.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks you. Bye-bye.